Hi, welcome to week 112. That's 112 weeks to go till the start of the Golden Globe race in Falmouth, UK in June 2018. This is the first of a number of blogs. My intention is to put a blog up a week which will just track the progress of the preparation of Mushka, my boat, and myself for this great event. This last week has been, well, probably one of my more frustrating weeks. Nothing actually to do directly with the boat, but it is a big project and it's got many parts to it. One of those parts is social media and getting a blog up and running, and I've had some great assistance from a mate, Ian McWilliam, who has been helping me pull that web page together, and I'm just dealing with my own technology limitations in meshing together a digital camera with iMovie and everything that can promise. But I'll get over that. It's just a case of practice, and this is week one, and week one might be a little bit rusty, but week two will be better, and week three. But apart from that, it's been a good week in terms of preparation. I've settled on sails, the primary form of propulsion for a yacht, and have ordered those sails, which will be ready by the end of May. The boat itself, in the way its current sail configuration is absolutely fabulous for southeast trade winds coming broad to the beam of the boat. Not so good for dead downwind running, and not so good for into-wind sailing either. So I had to fill those rather significant gaps in its sail wardrobe, and also some of those sails need to be set up for light air sailing. There's surprisingly a fair amount of that. Not so much in the Southern Ocean, but in plenty of other parts. There's a lot of light air sailing. So that was good, getting those sails sorted, and as I say, they'll be available by the end of May. And I've also settled on my rigging plan as well as part of that, and the boat will have its mast taken off and re-rigged in the middle of May, and then I'll have some confidence, at least I know when the rigging went up and what that rigging is as well. So that's good. I went sailing last Monday, and you can see from this footage it was light winds in a really pleasant Melbourne early autumn day. Winds were less than 10 knots, more like 8 knots, and Mushka, despite her 9-ton frame, was able to move along gently at 3 to 4 knots. Need to get used to that sort of speed. Average speed when this race was undertaken in 1968, the average speed of the one person who finished, was just under 5 knots. So it's a case of just recalibrating expectations with these older boats. I did a bit of work on the boat as well, again as part of the preparation for the boat. Mushka, when I bought her, had davits. Davits are a structure on the stern of the boat, the rear of the boat, for holding or raising and securing the boat's dinghy. I've always wanted a boat that had davits. I've got one, but I've just taken them off because the davits actually can't operate in the way that they're intended by putting a dinghy on them, because that would stop me from fitting my wind vane steering, which I've done. And the wind vane, which will literally steer for 98 to 99% of my time at sea, is clearly more critical than having davits for a dinghy, which something's gone terribly wrong if I need a dinghy through the Golden Globe race. But it was just a difficult, as most things are with a boat, a difficult thing to deconstruct. Again, in tight, dark places with fittings that have been there for some time. But that's off, and I've got a much clearer stern now than what I had at the start of the week. And I've placed a couple of orders for other parts of the boat, but more of that in the weeks to come. Just to take us out, I've just left a couple of images of Mushka sailing in those lighter breezes earlier this week. I think you'll find them tranquil. I certainly need some tranquility given my wrestling with iMovie over the last few days. I'll see you next week.